Riders Republic. Finally, we're here to review the game. Welcome to Gamify, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, UD, aka Upar Datta, your part-time reviewer at Gamify. I mostly cover Ubisoft games and occasional first-person games, and you will also find me streaming some games as well. So yeah, 2022 is going to be a lot of fun. You'll see a lot of podcasts coming in, a lot of stuff coming in, and a lot of reviews coming in as well. Video reviews, to point out specifically. But for now, we are going to focus on Riders Republic, a Ubisoft original released on October 28 for every platform, including Stadia, but except for Nintendo Switch. The game got a good reception though, like even before its launch, during the beta phase. It got an open beta before 2 to 3 weeks from the actual launch, and it was actually quite fun. There was not a lot of bugs, and I did go in with a few of my friends, and it was pretty good. So I was excited for the launch. And during the launch, according to Google, 96% of the people liked the game. 96, according to Google. But yeah, according to major leading websites and reviewers, it got an average score of around 7 to 8 points out of 10. And that, once again, in 2021 is not at all a bad score. I mean, we've seen the titles coming in this year and the scores they've gotten. So, an amazing job done well by Ubisoft. But is it actually really good? So we're gonna try to cover all the pros, all the cons, and some things that I just would like to share. Starting off, Riders Republic has an amazing concept, alright? It's mostly TLDR, a familiar of all the people who like sports are meeting in a virtual world to just enjoy sports, actual sports, not motor vehicles. There are a few of motor vehicles just to get around and have fun, but it's mostly bike, ice skating, rocket, and jumpsuit. The most important part of what makes Riders Republic good is that it is unique. Of all the sports game available out there, there's no direct competitor for it, right? We have Forza that did launch around the same timeline a month later, but Forza is all about cars, right? We just have cars, but in this game we have multiple options to go across. So people who actually are in these kinds of sports enjoy it. People who don't also enjoy it because of how fun it is, how easy to get into this game is. So it overall creates a beautiful experience while you're exploring just the concept of it. And mostly the things that are being offered in the game, that includes mass racing, that includes multiplayer divisions, that includes solo progression, that includes star system, that includes sponsor systems, which is just basically daily challenges which will reward you for clothing. I mean, it's a smart way to put in sponsorships, right? You're just not giving in quest, it's not just blatant grinding, you're just making it look better. So that's, once again, is a good job done. And the cosmetics in the game are actually pretty fun to grind, and actually are something valuable that you want to grind. Alright, the cosmetics do really look good and are pretty funky, and when you're just out there in the Republic hanging out with absolute strangers in a big lobby at the Rider Switch, it's pretty fun to have a really good attire. So once again, this game has a lot of fun activities that you can take across at any point of time. That includes jetpack, that includes biking, stunt biking, snowboarding, or even just gliding with a wingsuit and much more. I mean, just do whatever you want. And this is all in your custom wheel. Like in GTA, you have custom wheel for weapons, you can just get it anytime. You have a custom wheel for sports, like you're just biking and in a tap of a button you now have your jetpack geared up, you're ready to lift off. And it's so easy to get around, it's so easy to change whatever you're doing on the road, and it's even more fun to blend it all together. I mean, it takes a bit of a mastering, and for me, I like to stick to one thing at a time. For the people who can, it's an absolute blast. I mean, I was blown away. Like Ubisoft, we've known Ubisoft for open worlds basically. The studio for the past few years have been doing a great job in terms of open world. I mean, no matter how the games are, if the games are good, if the games are bad, their open worlds are quite fun actually, and they have radically improved over time. From having markers all over the map like it was some Atlas, it has significantly improved via feedbacks and stuff. And Riders Republic's map is insane. I mean, it's basically a national park just for having a map reference, but it has such a good biome. It has like actual snow mountains on the left side, it has actual desert area on the right side, It has a blend of forest system on the middle. It has a really good terrain, like really good for sporting vehicles that mostly require downhill type of terrain. I mean, it's an absolute blast, and especially the tracks in the game for actual rides, actual sporting events, and actual races. The tracks are done so well. Overall, a really good game design once again from Ubisoft for the game. Multiple options for multiplayer and solo as well. So if you're going in solo like me, because I have no friends who are actually going to buy the game right now, it's still a really good fun time because you can matchmake at any time you want. You can play a lot of races, you can play a lot of stuff solo as well. Like, it won't force you to go on multiplayer at any point of time. And a good point that I would like to point out right now is that you can play the game offline as well, right? There's a dedicated mode called Zen mode, which is basically you taking your time out, just relaxing, everything is unlocked. And as for other multiplayer options, it has casual multiplayer and it has ranked multiplayer. So people who are actually serious about this skill, so they can get a good division rank. And as I was seeing the progression table, that people who are actually going to grind the game well and actually are going to attain a lot of stars can compete for a world championship that Riders Republic is planning to hold, and that actually sounds kind of fun. I mean, definitely kind of fun. I mean, people mastering this game, which actually requires a lot of skill, and then competing out in an actual event, like I'm all in. That sounds good. So Ubisoft, if you're watching this and if you need a caster for that, yeah, here's an opening. The one last thing that I would like to mention, and it is the big part of Riders Republic, it's called Mask. There is 64 people going in a single sporting event, blended by 2 or 3 races at a time. What an absolute blast. I suck at those. I completely suck at those, but I enjoy them thoroughly. Like, I turn on my game, I desperately wait for a mass race to conduct, because this race is insane. It's an amazing experience. I mean, so much anxiety, so much stress. Like, you will be shocked. There is actual collision in there. Not a lot, but like, that's a 50% collision. Like, you'll be thrown across the entire racetrack like a pinball, and there will be a lot of turns. There will be some traps and just some obstacles that you will hit and you will mess up. So you have to look out for that while being thrown across like a pinball. And that sounds amazing. I mean, look at it for yourself, right? Like, at once you're focusing on how fast you can speed up your bike, how fast you can slide down the hill, and then the next moment you're in that jetpack and now you're trying to go as fast as you could, but being in control, because you don't want to lose control of the jetpack, because jetpack is a bit of a delicate thing. If you lose control of your flow, then you're not going to go into the trajectory, and if you're not hitting those checkpoints, then you're gonna come a lot last. The thing is, if the first player actually touches the finish line, you only have like 30 seconds to finish the race, or it just gets concluded, and it's pretty embarrassing to not even finish the race that you're in, and it has to be like stopped. So if you don't want to get embarrassed, make sure you practice a little bit before going in, or just go in. I went in, I got thrashed a lot, go in as well. And wrapping things up, basically the game looks good, basically the game feels good, and the game is actually on the right track. But you know, everything is not perfect. You know, somewhere down the line, Riders Republic is taking a hit. And what's that? Well, firstly, it's buggy at times. It didn't happen to me during the starting, during when the game was launched, but after a while, when I tried to get in back after I was done with my exams, a lot of disconnects were happening, and there was a lot of bugs. Like, I would just collide into a barrier and not get out of it. I couldn't even rewind, I couldn't even get up, and that just used to frustrate me a lot. And sometimes the game just didn't even load. It tried to sign me, but it didn't sign me in. And sometimes the mass races that are actually what I look forward for a lot does not let me load in. And that happened to me very recently as well. Like, I waited for a mass race to happen. Like, there were 62 players connected out of 64, but it still made me wait for 4 minutes. And then finally, after 5 to 6 minutes, I was sent back to lobby saying that I took a lot of time to load. Like, I took a lot of time to load. I was standing in there with other people, and then I saw other people jumping back into the lobby because they were thrown off as well. That mass race didn't happen, and that just sucks, right? I mean, you're waiting for a big event to happen, that event just crashes, and that's bad. Like, sometimes some players are just playing it for the mass race and it crashes. That's bad. A vital core of your game crashing. That's bad. From the date of release till now, the game is in a lot better state. Like, I wasn't able to find any bugs in my very recent play, except one disconnect and except one throwing me off a mass race event, and that significantly is a better state, a better position the game is in right now. Moving on, the pricing of the game still surprises me. I mean, it could be the first game to actually go on like 30% discount, if I'm not wrong, during the winter sale right now, or during the Ubisoft anniversary sale. Like, even Far Cry went on a little bit of a sale, little bit of a discount, but I think Riders Republic did get a huge discount. But still, the game pricing still amazes me. I mean, it's a game that literally asks a lot of players to play their game, and I don't understand why Ubisoft is expecting everyone to pay that big chunk of AAA title money for that. I mean, it could have a like lot cheaper price, and trust me, I could say this game could have been free to play and would earn more revenue on cosmetics than it has already earned the revenue from their sales. I mean, this game sold well, not too good, not too bad, or the expected average scale, but I still personally think, I mean, seeing Fortnite, seeing other games going in, I really think if the game was available to more players at a cheaper rate or at an alternative like Xbox Game Pass, I don't think this game is ever going to come to Game Pass. But once again, if people had an alternative, this game could have seen such a brighter scope. This game could have seen such a wider amount of audience, and this game could have been a blast. Which brings us to the next topic. The player base has significantly declined from the launch, and I don't know what's the reason. It may be because of the retention, because if you're going to play this game every day, just grinding it out, you're gonna get bored. I mean, you'll get harder and harder difficulties, you will get multiplayer sessions. But what made it different from other sport titles present in the gaming industry right now is the idea of Republic, idea of people coming in together, doing more events, like the mass race, something similar to the mass race that could actually have been put into the game, so the people could actually come back from time to time to find out what community focused event is happening. Like, the Winterfest is fine, but it's just Winterfest. There's no special races happening just for Winterfest. Like, there could have been a level just with Christmas decorations, and people could have just gotten a free Santa Claus outfit, which did got added to the game, but as a paywall. I mean, you have to pay a good amount of money for this to actually get this outfit, which is cool, which is badass. This emote is also pretty cool, but do you really expect me to pay for this? I mean, why? Like, people who can afford will definitely pay for this, but a lot of chunk of your people cannot pay for this. But if it was cheaper, you could have earned more, and I don't understand what's the idea of adding this big of a paywall behind it. And wrapping all of that, once again, TLDR, Riders Republic is an amazing game. If you haven't tried it, try it right now, right? Just try it. This game is a blast. You will not regret buying it, that's my word. But once again, this game could do a little better, both on the pricing factor, both on the fresh content factor, so it can retain players, so the mass races can go on and on. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give this game an 8 out of 10. It deserves that. It truly deserves that. I was thinking more of a 7.5, but still, just traveling around the game amazes me. And the Zen mode that you will find in the main menu is the reason it's getting the 8 point, because not all the time you will have the access to your internet. You will just have your laptop and you're just traveling around, but you can dive into Zen mode anytime, and it's a great place to be in if you just want to fight peace. And with that, thank you so much for joining into Gamifine. I know I spoke a lot. I may cut a lot in the post editing, so I don't know how much I spoke, but still, if you made it through here, thank you so much for joining in, and I'm really thankful that you made it this far. Make sure you like our social media, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that you find us, and make sure you follow all our podcasts. We recently released our Gamifying Game of the Year awards, and thank you to all who voted for it. It's actually a pretty good, great thing for us. And with that, we will be back with some great content coming up in 2022. And with that, a very happy new year to all of you. May your upcoming year be very blissful and very successful. And with that, peace out.